What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Bucs on Deck podcast episode. We are your hosts. My name is Anthony Murphy, and with me today is co-host Nola Jeffy. Nola, how's it going, man?
Fantastic. Been a little busy, but ready.
It's fun when life just keeps you going, right?
Yeah, it never stops. You get to a
Yeah.
certain age and it just never stops.
I mean, I told you what I did with my day today, so like kind of stopped for me. Kind of stopped. As most of you know, I have a weekly appearance on with NS9 at good old 7 in the morning, and whatever sleep I lost for being on that morning, I got back afterwards. So, but we've got a pretty good episode. I feel like playing today. We're going to talk about some Greensboro rotation stuff. It hasn't been a great start for the minor league side of things, I feel like, but if there's one thing that's really stood out so far, it's definitely that rotation, and we'll kind of get into the numbers and stuff like that. And then after that, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the struggles, some specific players that we feel like are struggling, and maybe more so the reason that they are struggling is a little bit not usual for them, and then we'll wrap things up. Yeah, very looking through these numbers, very surprising, and we'll wrap it up with Nola's weekly preview for each minor league affiliate. But like I said, we're gonna start with the little Greensboro rotation, and Greensboro has that kind of they have that thing, they have a thing that kind of swirls around them. It's a very hitter-friendly league, very hitter-friendly ballpark, so not generally pitcher-friendly. But so far, I think if there's any group of players or anything like that throughout the entire system that's kind of been performing well, it's definitely the Greensboro rotation. This past week, I think they won like 4 of the 6 games against Winston-Salem.
4-2.
And it was really the rotation the whole way. The Greensboro starters allowed 4 earned runs over 22 and a third innings. They had 23 strikeouts to only 6 walks. And like as we kind of like I'll go through. We could go through and name. We probably won't talk about each one of them today, but like I could go through name the starters. And to have only 6 walks out of that entire group there, I think is pretty impressive because quite a few of them have known control issues. And I mean, like the one that stands out automatically is Alessandro Ercolani, especially after that Arizona Fall League. I guess you can call it like a disaster a little bit for him. I think he walked like 11 or 12 people in less than
that was a huge jump up for him.
Yeah. He's like, I mean, so all fair, even like high A is a huge jump up for him. He's still 19. He won't turn. Yeah. I think his birthday is on the 20th, so he'll be 20 here within the next couple of days. But he only walked 1 in 4 innings. Hunter, I guess we could start off with the guy at the top of the rotation, Hunter Barco, pitched another fantastic outing. 4 innings, only 2 hits, no walks this time. He walked 2 last time, and striking out 4. What's been your thoughts so far on the season on him that you've seen?
Well, and just especially when we talked, I think was it last week where he walked the first 2 batters, and then like catcher said something to him, and he just locked it down after that. And he was obviously somebody known for his control and obviously the plus changeup, and then especially I wish we were getting more consistent readings. I personally haven't been able to listen to the feeds while watching them most of the time. I'll have closed captioning on. I hope I catch a velocity here or there, but there hasn't been too many. So it is curious where he's sitting right now after showing 95 in that breakout game. Because with his control and he has that changeup, the metrics on his it was calling it a sinker, but the movement on it would appear more like it's like a flat 2-seamer. And if he's pumping 94, 95, like he's a guy, he's a dude now. He's not just a guy, he's a dude.
Yeah, I think I mentioned one of the 10 observations that we've done so far. I think I've talked about Barco on both of them, and
Mm-hmm.
like he's like at first he was kind of a guy like, okay, he probably gonna have like a plus changeup, probably say above average slider, and then like if you want to give him like a 50 for the fastball, that's probably generous. Now all of a sudden, we see like the approach angle on the fastball, and you kind of see it playing up in the zone a lot so far. And I would, like you said, we don't like. I think his first start, I don't even think they started commentating on the game until after he had left. I think it was just like
Right,
pure
right.
silence the first three
Yeah.
innings, and then like on the road with Winston, or like I don't think they're as enticed to talk about the radar readings for like the opposition and stuff like that.
Right.
But like even if he's like he averaged 90 miles an hour last year on the fastball / sinker, whatever, in Bradenton. So like even if he's up to 92, 93 right now, I mean that's a huge jump. And like with that him being left-handed and the arm slap that he's throwing out of and the approach, like I mean now we're talking about like 3 above average pitches at least, with that changeup still
Right.
probably a plus pitch.
Well, and it was a pitch that had a lot of run to it, but now,
Yeah.
with the added velocity, he's getting more ride per se on it. Especially for like a sinker, I think it was the TJ stats, the vertical approach angle on it was like a very, very flat
Yeah.
sinker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so like seeing that now, like we both got excited seeing that after the spring breakout game, and then like just that. So him, I guess maybe him starting to blow away hitters with the fastball up in the zone,
Mm-hmm.
like he has been so far, wasn't as much of a surprise now seeing that, and it's just like, but like him coming back from Tommy John, they say sometimes it takes like 2 years for them to be back to like
Right.
100% kind of thing, and he's basically approaching that now, and
Mm-hmm.
like this is a guy who, like they said, he was trending very quickly to be in a first round pick before he got hurt, and
Yeah, I remember watching him against the LSU team,
mm-hmm.
which would have been a sophomore Dylan Cruz and Jacob Berry when he was considered a
His last
top
year there,
5. Yeah, Drew
yeah.
Doughty, and dude, he just like they couldn't touch him. They were whiffing at everything. He was just all his breaking pitches, like they couldn't touch him, especially the
Yeah.
changeup.
Yeah, changeup's nasty. I love a left-handed changeup. Those are just
Yeah.
so fun, so fun. But you did mention radar readings, and I guess one guy that we do have to mention because of that is, like I said, the Winston-Salem broadcast didn't really go out of the way to let us know what the Greensboro guys were throwing. But when a guy
That
hits
was
triple
until one
digits,
guy. Yeah.
yeah, when a guy hits triple digits, I think you take notice anyways. And we knew Wilbur Dotel threw pretty hard, but we
Mm-hmm.
never saw him hit triple digits in Bradenton. I think he hit 99 a couple times,
Yeah.
but that was definitely a very fun development to see that day, I feel like.
Well, it's just aside from Barco, just watching, especially Riley, Arcolani, and Dotel, like I mean, they were blowing fastballs by hitters, and that's people are starting to see it now with Jared Jones in the majors, and why we talk about the things like the vertical approach angle and the ride on a fastball, because if you have that quality touching elite vertical approach angle on your fastball, I mean, you can miss middle, and a guy will still whiff on it.
Mm-hmm.
You can miss
Yeah.
spots, and a guy will whiff. So it's promising to see the types of fastballs. You want to see better command just in general, but as young as they are, it's progress.
Yeah, yeah. And like we talked a little bit about, I talked about a little bit on NS9 this morning. It's like it's clearly that they're reaching for like the analytically favored kind of guys now with
Mm-hmm.
like the pure stuff, and you mentioned it, like get the stuff now. You mentioned like on a group chat, get the stuff now and like teach them how to throw strikes later.
Right.
And Dotel definitely kind of falls into that category there. Still has some work to do. What is it? And I
Yeah.
think that the triple digits thing was probably more on the line was, he was making his second start of the week. It was the first time he was doing that because Bradenton runs the 6-man rotation.
Mm-hmm.
So they're probably he was on like a very, very strict pitch limit. So it's probably
Right.
like, okay, well, you're going to throw like 40, 45 pitches, just let loose kind of thing.
Yeah.
Still has some work to do because I know.
I was gonna say just on top, and then like with a horizontal approach angle, like we normally talk about the vertical approach angle, but horizontal approach angle itself is kind of beginning to pick up more steam, just with guys that have extreme horizontal movement, and it seems like a lot of these guys they picked up recently and drafted have a much more have a lot more. I was just not cut. The opposite one. Ride. No, not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm missing my words right now. God damn. What's the opposite of cut? I just lost it.
Run.
Run. Yeah, not ride. Run. my brain's broken from this day.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, they're getting guys with a lot of run, and that's why especially when we're tracking like on StatCast, and it can't determine whether it's a four seam or a sinker. A lot of times it comes down to because of that horizontal movement and the horizontal break on their fastballs. That's why, like a lot of times, Jared Jones, it would say sinker, and it's like he doesn't throw a sinker. He has a four seam. It just every now and then, like he'll get 12, 13, 14 inches of horizontal break on it.
Yeah. StatCast is kind of broken. You got to give it patience. It has its own disclaimer on it saying that it may not be right at first. Yeah, the whole Jared Jones cutter thing kind of went further than it should have with it.
Right.
But yeah, so basically, it'll be interesting to see how Greensboro the rotation does. Like once they start playing more home games, they're home all week. I'm sure there'll be some runs given up and stuff like that, but very, very good start. Can't really ask for much more. And most of the attention was with the Altoona rotation going into the season, and then obviously Paul Skeens and stuff like that. So it's nice to see. It's nice to see the depth of they always talk about the depth of the pitching, and that usually leads to them talking like Bubba Chandler. But
Right.
Bubba Chandler's a top 100 guy, which it's nice to have multiple top 100 guys and stuff like that, but still, like the depth goes beyond that, and it's showing in Greensboro right now.
Yeah, need to backfill that depth the way the Orioles backfill their hitters.
They just need to get together and start swapping prospects with each other, something like that. Let us get one of your hitting prospects. We'll give you a pitching prospect.
Yeah,
so simple, so simple.
Yeah,
but speaking of hitting prospects. Yeah. We're gonna get into some of the Pirates hitting prospects, and namely some of the guys. The Pirates have drafted some guys that are a lot more drafted or signed some guys that are a lot more known for contact. The only issue is so far this season they're not making contact.
Nope.
No. Namely, the obvious guy is Tamar Johnson. But also same team, Mitch Jebb, and then playing in Bradenton right now, Garrett Forster. Forster and Jebb specifically, they were drafted out of college. They were both noted for their really good contact ability. Jebb showed it last year. Jebb's swing and strike rate from last year in Bradenton was insane. It was 96% or something like that.
Yeah,
or
his
contact rate.
2.7 swing and strike rate or something like that.
Yeah, he had a 2 swing and strike, and his in zone contact rate was 96, 97%. It was insane. The numbers were insane. This year, so most of the data from Greensboro isn't really reliable, but TJ Stats, I know we've mentioned him before. He does really good at getting all the info and all that stuff. I guess he's been able to get the info from the game day information and stuff like that to track swing and strikes and everything. According to what he's been able to pull, Mitch Jebb has swung at 56 pitches so far, and he has whiffed at 27. That is a 48% whiff rate. Basically, he is whiffing at half of the pitches that he's swinging at. And he has, which has led to 13 strikeouts and 32 plate appearances. Tamar Johnson, not as bad when it comes to the strikeout rate. It's 26%. He has 10 strikeouts and 38 plate appearances. But he has also swung at 37 of 70, or he's swung and missed at 37 of 79. Yeah, which is a 46% whiff rate.
Yeah, and just to put it into perspective, Mitch Jebb had 153 plate appearances last year in low A with Bradenton. He had 11 strikeouts. He has 32 plate appearances this year and 13 strikeouts. So he already has more strikeouts than he had all of his short stay in Bradenton last year.
Yeah, and we're 9 games into the season, and I'm fairly confident he hasn't played in all 9 games. So at most he's played. I think
7.
He's played in like seven. That's what I thought.
Yeah, 7.
So and that's almost 2 strikeouts a game.
Yeah, he has 20% of the plate appearances, but already 2 more strikeouts.
Yeah. So yeah, that's this not an ideal start. And like we talk about pitching all day and stuff like that, but like we're still waiting on some sort of just any kind of hitting prospect to have some sort of breakout.
I will say at least like Trace Gonzalez and Charles McAdoo are both they've both been mentioned as guys that don't swing and miss a lot, and their swing and strike percentages. I mean, Trace Gonzalez is 6.2% and McAdoo's 3.8%.
I pulled up Trace Gonzalez's thing because I was looking at it, and yeah, like his strikeout is actually better than in Altoona than it was in Greensboro. It's just he's only batting 154 right now.
Well, it says his ground ball percentage is 47.6%, so he needs to pick it up a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's always been the issue with it. Well, are you looking at his whole page or just at like the Pirates in general?
I'm on the Fangraphs minor league leaderboard.
Because I want to say I'm willing to bet that his ground ball rate in Greensboro wasn't that far off last year.
Probably not. Let's see, because I got him up individually too. 54% in Greensboro.
Oh, so he's actually lifting the ball more. All right,
yeah,
get the ball back on the ground.
Almost 7%. Yeah, his batting average of balls in play is 182.
Okay, so I mean, he's due for an improvement.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote about the observation. Although I'm forgetting right now, I think he went 4 for his last 10 with a double and triple. So he finished his last 3 games
in one day
after going. I think it was 0 for 16, and then he went 4 for 10. So
yeah. So, and I guess one more guy I should mention it too. I already mentioned him. Forrester. He's at a 30% strikeout rate. He has 10 strikeouts and 33 plate appearances. He has a 40% whiff rate right now. So not as bad as the other two, but this is a guy that like, what is it, Pipeline thought was like a breakout candidate at first base to kind of jump into the top 10 first baseman. He's kind of a catcher now, but yeah, he's a catcher now. But so contact issues this early in the season, how concerned are you with that?
Not concerned, but concerned, I guess. Kind of in the middle, just because, I mean, it's still so early. I mean, they haven't even played like 10 games in the minors. But, I mean, even just some of what we're seeing in the majors, too, it's just, again, feeling like one of those philosophical things they're doing top down. Mm-hmm. I mean, like we had mentioned, I think in the group chat, Tank Henry Davis watched 3 hanging sliders for called strikes. Like, didn't swing at any of them. Cruz has been striking out like no other. They just love staring at the ball, and it's almost like they're getting themselves in poor counts and then whiffing at a terrible pitch. Mm-hmm. Ironically, although, I mean, 3 plate appearances, but I was joking to you about Michael Escato, and he's a huge strikeout guy, but I was actually kind of impressed by some of his at-bats. Like, I was like, those are pitches that he normally like Hail Marys at, and he didn't swing at them. I was like, I don't know if he's a guy anymore.
I mean, he's only played 1 game
22?
at a time. He's 22. He's only played 1 game out of 9, so I'm
When
assuming
that's
that
the
Pirates are just Pirates have probably packed it in on him at this point.
I mean, he's only 21.
Yeah, he's still young. Like he got to Greensboro early.
Yeah, this is his third year there.
Yeah, so
Not
he got
third
there
full
early.
year, but third year.
Yeah. Well, I think he started there, and then they shipped him back to the Complex League the first time, and then
Yeah,
worked
that
out
sounds
great
right.
and didn't finish it. Yeah. So I mean, it's early in the season. Like looking at straight numbers to an extent can always be a little bit dangerous. I feel like just solely because sample size is so small. As things start playing out, once we get like a month or so.
Here's a good one. Here's a good one that we briefly talked about pre-show. Jack Brannigan. I mean, because I think he had one whiff the first weekend in 3 games, but his swing and strike percentage is only 6.8%. And I mean, as of right now, his K percentage is only 13.5 to 21.6 walk percentage. So 8 games.
About like needing a breakout guy, like that would be. He has. There's so many tools there for him that like if he. Like he doesn't have to maintain this. Like there could still be a little bit of a drop off with the swing and miss, which I'm sure there will be on there. But like if he can start stringing together some some home runs and stuff like that, like get him to Altoona, that kind of thing. That glove can play him straight to the majors on its own. That's the glove and the speed. Like I would love like the glove only defensive guys on the bench of the majors aren't as much of a thing as they used to be. But like
but hey, they're back in Greensboro this week.
Let's go. Yeah, a couple home runs.
So many home runs. All the home runs.
That throw the whole approach thing out the window. We're gonna get
Yeah, watch. Come next week. We're gonna be doing this show, and it's gonna be the polar opposite of what we're talking about today.
Don't worry about the hitters. The hitters are fine. Look what happened this week.
More pitchers? Nah.
Who needs pitching?
But
yeah, definitely something to monitor, especially since Pirates don't already have as much when it comes to hitting prospects. It's not a small sample size, but like you always want your small sample sizes to be on the other end of the spectrum, especially when you were kind of.
You also don't want to. Yeah, I was like, you don't want to see guys doing the thing that they're supposed to be good at.
Yeah. Because we talked about it with Jeb. Like he's the contact and speed guy. He's not making contact, which isn't allowing really to use his speed because he's not getting on base to use it. So he went from a 2-tool guy to a 0-tool guy because he can't get on base.
Actually, he's not whiffing as much as I thought he was.
I think he has like a 286 average. His OPS is like right below 700. It's like 6 something, I think.
Well, I was going to mention Castillo.
So, like he's not far off. Oh, Castillo, he's
got one of the weirdest lines right now.
I feel like it was that way last year. He batted barely over 200.
Oh, but now he's batting 143. He's batting 143, but a 415 on base percentage.
Yeah. He had like a 30. He has like a 30-some% walk rate to like a teens strikeout rate. Still.
Yeah.
I will say there are some guys in the lower levels that can take a walk. Castillo drew 100 walks last year. You feel like Mitch Jeb could probably, maybe not 100, but he could probably get up there. Tamar obviously walked 100 times. I feel like Forster, like it wasn't until recently that like 5 games into the season, I feel like I actually saw him swing the bat. Like he's always looking for a walk. The first game of the season, he walked 3 times. The spring breakout game, the game where you kind of want to see them go after stuff, he walked twice, and the only times at the plate. So like he's a guy that can do that. But
especially with that auto zone in the Bradenton, sometimes that
takes some adjusting. And like even the pitchers, you see the pitchers. Like I remember Po Yu Chen when he first came up. Like he didn't walk anybody in the complex league, and then he couldn't find the strike zone to save his life. And I think there's some adjustments that you have to take into the automated strike zone. Now, if you're just swinging and missing at everything, that's a little different.
Right.
But yeah, so okay. Well, I guess like you said, it's early. We'll see how things continue to play out. There are some guys that we're kind of monitoring for breakouts on the hitting side of things. Some guys that obviously need to start making contact. But as when it comes to looking forward to that kind of stuff, we know every Tuesday morning, Nola takes control of the morning rundown, and he gives us a little bit of a weekly preview. And now on the podcast here, we're gonna bring that to you here. So, Nola, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Well, I guess we'll start off. That's weird. Starting off with AAA, the Indianapolis Indians with a 6-9 record. Nice. After going 1-5 last week. Now, unfortunately, the top prospect.
They made an effort to get to that record.
right. It all makes sense now.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the top prospect they were supposed to face is Brooks Lee, but he's on the 7-day DL right now. With he had back spasms in spring training, so I'd imagine he's not going to be back. But David Festa is a top 100 prospect on Fangraphs, number 95. So they get their own top 100. He's a pretty good pitcher, good high end stuff. So he's the Twins' 5th overall in pipeline. Sliding on down to Curve, we got the Bowie Bay Sox. Curve are 4-4 after a 3-2 week. Now, again, very small sample size, but the Bowie's offense is middle of the pack, OPS, but 8th out of 12th in ERA. And they're number one. Well, not their number one, but the top prospect on Bowie is I'm probably going to say this wrong. I should have asked Birdman. Basallo, Samuel, the catcher. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 19-year-old catcher. He's huge. And I'll say the one Pirate City scrimmage game I got to see while I was in Bradenton, I saw him. I mean, he was there, and I was like, Jesus, this kid is massive.
I saw him when he was playing with Del Marva when they came to Fredericksburg. That is a big person, and he I think he hit it foul, but he put a jolt into a ball, and he hit it a long way.
Yeah, I'll say, and then a couple other names people will probably recognize on Bowie is going to be Dylan Beavers, Judd Fabian, couple college outfielders. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 healthy of the Orioles top 30. It would be 10, but Max Wagner's on the 7-day IL. They're 14th overall. But also, there's a special surprise in Bowie this week. We're gonna see a former. Here's my Indy Clowns jersey I got. Trey Mago. He's back.
Yeah, he's back.
And
now St. Mary's represent.
Yeah, man. You still need to tell your story.
Mount St. Mary's represent. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. And so far he's 5 innings pitched, 6 Ks. I had it right here. It's 1 hit, 1 walk, and a save, I believe. So he's a good start to his year. I was always a fan of him, although I think, was he 26 now? But
yeah, he's lost a lot of time to injury. I think at one point a couple years ago, Baseball America had him rated when they do the best tools thing, they had him with the best control in the Pirate system.
Yeah, he was. He topped out. He was a 92, 93 guy, but he had a great breaker, changeup, and he just he was just spot the ball. And then he was pretty much on the cusp of making his debut at some point during that season, and Tommy John. But Orioles are obviously more known for their hitting prospects that are just littered everywhere. Now for the fun one is High A, the Greensboro Grasshoppers. They're 6-3 after a 4-2 week. They're facing the Hickory Crawdads, Rangers affiliate, who have had a pretty rough start to the year. They're last in OPS in a Sally. ninth out of 12 in ERA. Unfortunately, Kumar Rocker will pitch this year, but they have the another consensus top 100 prospect, Sebastian Walcott, shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
There's a pipeline top 100 Brock Porter. I know Murphy's a fan.
Big Brock Porter guy. I'm very much looking. I don't know which day he's supposed to pitch, but I'm very much looking forward to getting to see him pitch. I just missed out on him whenever he came to Fredericksburg last year. I was a little upset about that, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Big Brock Porter guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I'd look forward to the Porter Urkelani showdown, but I mean, I'll take Porter Urkelani, Porter Dotel, Porter Barco, Massey, Riley, any of them.
I was gonna say I'm willing to bet money. It's just out of luck, it's gonna be Porter versus Massey. I'll put money on it right now.
Yeah,
that's what I feel like.
Which this should be a double Urkel week, right?
Yep, double. Urkelani's projected for tomorrow, so I'm guessing it'll probably just be like how they used Dotel on Sunday, just an inning or two. But
yeah, and then finally, low A, the woeful Marauders, who are 1-8 after an 0-6 week, to face the Daytona Tortugas of the Cincinnati Reds, who are middle of the pack OPS and ERA. They were going to be the only team without a top 100 prospect, which this one's kind of interesting just because Alfredo Duno, he's ranked 10th on Pipeline on the Reds' top 30, but with graduations, he was just added to Baseball America's top 100. He's number 99 currently. So Ricardo Cabrera and Alfredo Duno are two they were highly thought of international prospects. I don't recall specifically, but one was signed in 2022, one was 2023. I believe one was 3.1 million and the other was 2.7 million. So they're pretty top dollar prospects. And obviously, Duno being added to Baseball America is pretty talented.
Yeah. For someone who probably hasn't pitched too much or just now hitting affiliated ball. So what you're saying is Bradenton struggled a lot with the low 90s Lakeland pitchers. It's going to be a longer week this week with some guys that are in the top 100.
Well, Cabrera is a shortstop, third baseman, and Duno's a catcher.
Okay. So pitching's in for a long week for Bradenton.
Probably. And that's what I was trying to see, because I believe they had mentioned that he was like number 2 behind Ethan Salas.
Okay.
The number 2 catcher, I want to say. Yeah. Top 5. So he was a $3.1 million guy out of the. And yeah. So it should be a good week, all 4 levels. Quality matchups. And hopefully everyone.
I feel like pitching down in Bradenton is kind of the thing to watch right now. I feel like so getting some quality hitters to go up against is pretty good for him.
Yeah, speaking of Statcast being Statcast, I was following along the Kennedy and it was kind of weird because it would be like 88 mile an hour fastball and then it'd be like 92.6. I'm like, wait, what? I was like, I feel like one of those.
There's quite a bit. Yeah, it looked like there's a lot of variance with it. I haven't had a chance to look at it since that day with it to see if they. But yeah, Statcast is just weird. But
I think a lot of it probably has to do with all these so many clinics and all these places focusing on pitch movement, and they probably had, and that's what, again, going back to like Jared Jones, they probably just have certain parameters that says like this vertical break and this like RPM, some sort of RPMs, vertical break and horizontal break. It's like this is a four seam and this is a sinker. And now that guys are adding specific break to pitches, it's showing up as different things. Because what is it? Skeen's splinker shows up is it a sinker it shows up as?
It shows up mainly as a
Or
sinker, but then I think his last start it also showed as a splitter too. I think like
when it,
it had him throwing a 1-0 splitter.
yeah, yeah.
So I haven't looked at it yet because you know a couple days later sometimes they'll have it adjusted. So I haven't taken a look at to see if they adjusted it yet or not. I'll have to check that when we
When
get
that's
off of
a
here.
yeah, I had wondered if it took place of completely of the changeup, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I just know I didn't notice it. I didn't I just noticed it. I didn't look at like the specs of it and stuff like that. So
I guess next time Ryan talks to him, be like, ask him which pitches he specifically throws. But being Skeens, he probably has like 8.
I think was it. I still have to listen to it, but who's it? The one of the play-by-play guys, Jack McMullen, who
Mm-hmm.
he does the Just Baseball podcast. He talked to him, and apparently, like he like his slider, he throws like 3 different sliders or stuff, something like that, and it's like all based on like his release and all that stuff, like you know
Mm-hmm.
where the release and everything on it is. So who knows? Like Skeens is the guy that I think I said it before. Skeens is gonna be the guy that makes me give up on Statcast altogether because it's just
Yeah,
like
at this
I have
point,
no clue what is coming. Like I'll just track exit velocity numbers at this point. Like I give up on the
he,
pitching side of things.
he's giving a whole new meaning to kitchen sink,
Yeah,
throwing the
yeah,
kitchen sink at him.
yep. It's quite the kitchen. That's quite the kitchen sink though. That's coming at you.
Right, yeah.
But
He's throwing a slider, but it could be 1 of 3.
yeah, yeah. We just don't know how it's going to break, where it's going to break, and how fast it's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
But he knows. He's the only person that knows, which is scary. So
Hopefully the catcher.
yeah, I'm sure the catcher. Okay, so Skeen's in the catcher, whoever that is at the time. But I think outside of that, that's pretty much everything that we have for you guys. Nola, you have any Nola knowledge for us to close things out?
I feel like I had thought of something recently, but again, my brain's fried right now, so I got nothing. Got
Cool,
nothing.
cool, nice. All right, well. So I'm gonna have to plug the site here. Obviously, subscribe to Bucs on Deck Substack. Um, I got a couple premium video breakdowns coming out this week. I mentioned I'm gonna be doing something on Lonnie White later this week. I have another Greensboro player specifically that's going to come out on Thursday. The Lonnie article will be out on Friday. So make sure you subscribe to our premium side of things so you get access to that. Not only do you get access to my video breakdowns, but also our top 25 prospect rankings that we did before the season. I did full player write-ups for all those. We'll update those as the season goes on. There's a chance that Quinn Priester graduates within the next week or 2, depending on if he's the guy that gets called up to take Marco Gonzalez's place. Also,
Needs
like
1 out.
yeah, 1 out. That's it.
1 out.
I did mention on Twitter that I will be going to Bradenton at some point this year to cover the Marauders. I also have a trip to Greensboro planned. Any content that I get from there will also be on the premium side of things. So subscribe now. Get access to a lot of cool stuff. This Wednesday also, we usually run a MLB draft thing. Nola and I took a stab at a mock draft for the first 20 picks.
People are going to hate me. People are going to hate me.
Yeah. I hate to throw people under the bus or anything, but I did write an intro and I did make a point to say that Nola ended up with the Pirates pick, and I did some, I started making it. I don't want to say excuses, but I put some good reasoning behind some of the stuff. But look out for that on Wednesday. That was really fun doing. Draft's been kind of hard to get a handle on, but it's been fun following this year. So
yeah, especially with what some of these bats are doing.
Yeah, there's so many guys up there, and you have to think one of them's going to slip solely because probably the Athletics are going to do something crazy, and the Royals aren't. Yeah, the Royals aren't a stranger to doing something out of the ordinary, so someone could slip. I think we kind of played it straight. More so, we didn't. I don't think we did. I don't think we really did anything crazy until we got to pick 9. and then
Yeah, we were considering it. Then we got to the Pirates. I was like, nope, here's the crazy one.
yeah.
Here's where we're going off the rails.
So now that we got that out of the way, and you guys know, you can follow me on Twitter at @double_Murphy88. Follow Nola at Nola Jeffy, Jeffy. And thank you for tuning in. Subscribe. This should be available on all platforms. I haven't heard otherwise that it wasn't available or that it didn't make it to everything. If you're trying to get on it, find it somewhere and you don't see it, send me a message. But outside of that, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week.
Next week.